right, so the deal with today is I'm probably gonna cut out some of this floor. I'm gonna do my best, man. I'm just like measuring. I'm gonna pull this frame and put it side by side with the body, and then we'll kind of get an idea of where, you know, I have to cut out and stuff. So I figured out a way. I don't know if it's gonna work, but you're gonna see here later. Instead of trying to lift the cab up, I have another idea, which isn't the best way to do it. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna be like, I can't believe, but we're gonna see. If it'll come to that. But for now, I'm just gonna start moving some stuff around. So here we have it. This is gonna be really close, man. See, that nose has to line up. I want this fresh coming out of the gate, so it swoops up. And you know, I'm gonna have a lot of trouble, you know, putting an engine and tranny in this thing. It's gonna be a job, but I'll face that when it comes. This is all learning experience. I'm just gonna keep going. You know, if I screw something up, I'll fix it along the way. If something seems impossible, I want to try to make it happen. I got to do, you know, just what makes sense. And right now, you know, an engine being in this little cavity here, you know, I'm gonna have to cut a lot out of the firewall. There's a lot, but you can see this is kind of where it's meant to sit, so that's where it'll go. And I have to make sure, I have to figure out about this brace right here, because I think it has to come forward like an inch. Go figure, you know, after all this. But there might be a way. It's really close. Like I might be able to cut some out of it, and then, but I have to cut this and that, and I have to cut a lot out of this to make this fit. But yeah, that's where it goes. And then you can see, man, it's pretty close. Like that's gotta be, and mind you, there's gonna be an inch, like an inch lift. You know, I do the hockey pucks, is, you know, in between my body mounts. But yeah, like the hockey pucks are like an inch thick as well, so I'll have a little playroom. All right, I guess it's time to start cutting out the, well, I don't know. Yeah, it's time to start cutting out the floor. Alright, so if there was any structure left in this thing, there's not now. Nah, it's not too bad, but got that going on. And same thing on that side, and that should be enough to bring this up here. So I'm gonna try it out. So supposedly that's going to be the sweet spot. I hope so, because I cut it out. Man, we got it in here. I want to get the rear end up in it and get it all squared. Then I might work on it with it on the frame for a while, because I have some stuff to do to the inside of this. I got to rebrace everything back there, make sure everything's square. So I'll just use the frame as like a table, because it sits flat on level ground. And yeah, go from there. So this is definitely not easy. I have the frame up on jack stands. I got to get this underneath of it. I got to get this underneath, and then I got to channel. I got to knock these things off, and then I got to channel that ever so slightly. Maybe like 2 inches to get that where it needs to be. Maybe 3. No, it's not even going to be that. It's going to be like 2 inches at most. And then it'll all sit back. And I just want to get this axle under there and then get 4 inches underneath so that I can see what it's going to actually look like the stance. But yeah, it's a real big pain, man, not gonna lie. And I don't know if these are cut enough. I might even have to go higher up. We'll see. So there's a lot that I kind of skimped out on here as far as filming, because I was just on it, man. So I channeled the front. I didn't show that. And it's not quite, it's going to be perfect once I can get the car down the rest of the way. It's sitting at sort of a slant right now, just very minor. The distance of that little crack down there, that gap, that's the distance it needs to go down. And this side's sitting even higher. This thing's all out of order right now because got a flat tire, and but this is the stance. I mean, that grill shell is going to be really low. Yeah, I mean, this is exactly how I wanted it to sit. It just, I have these, that's, obviously those rims are just rims back there, so these wheels and tires are on here that'll be the actual height. So that'll be where it sits, which is a good height. I feel like that's perfect, and I didn't lose any room inside of the car. It's all the floor. I didn't have to tear the whole floor out. I am gonna have to add a lot of bracing though, man. Like, this door is barely, that should be up higher. I got to do some stuff, but yeah, I mean, I'm pretty stoked. I want to look at it from outside, even though the window's filthy dirty. That's kind of a better view. Top of that sucker definitely needs chopped. I don't know where I'm fitting an engine in at. I'm gonna have to cut out like the whole entire firewall is gonna have to get cut out. But yeah, there's a lot more work to do to this thing, man. A lot more. The floor, I mean, I'm gonna have a drive shaft and a transmission like sitting right in the middle of that. I need to take all this back up. Like, I just don't feel like doing it tonight. I'm beat. That took a very long time. I didn't show any of it, but all these shards of metal, these all had to be cut out to to make that fit. If you notice, the rear end's in there backwards because the trailing arms, even though I cut them off, you can see it right there. The trailing arm was still enough to where it wouldn't go past the body, so I had to put it in backwards. But I just wanted to mock it up. It's not even down the whole way. Like, it's going to go down another. I mean, I know the frame sits level when it's down. We already did that before I put the body on. So everything will be level, but it still needs to go down about 2 or 3 more inches, which will make this tire sits at like a really nice height. Like, I don't want it to be up in the window. I want this to still have, I want it to be low but still have a good ride height. I didn't even channel the car. Like, yeah, the front's channeled a little bit, but like the floor is where it would be. I didn't lift the floor up. I have tons of space in here. Like, I have enough space that I could chop this a good 4 inches, and that would make the car, I mean, that would just make it awesome. I thought about just keeping it like East Coast traditional, but all that went out the window the second I touched the frame. So, you know, I mean, I'm pretty stoked. It's giving me that second wind to like keep going, but I need to go in and go to bed. But it's coming along, and like I said, I have no idea where I'm going to put an engine. There's no room for an engine anywhere. But yeah, I might have to put the tire, like the, whatever I'm like so tired and out of it, I can't even think of what it's called. The drag link or whatever, the steering bar. Might have to do it suicide and put it in the front, even though the grill's there. And I mean, it's gonna look really cool. Let me mock up these headlights real quick. Hold on. Yeah, like, that's not at all how they're gonna go. It looks like it's like cross-eyed. One eye's going one way, one eye's going the other way, but it's just kind of like a generalized idea just to see the chrome headlights mixed with this strange color scheme, which will match. It'll all work out because we got the chrome smoothie caps on there, and then the white and the red, and we're gonna do the white and red accents throughout. Like I said, I thought about even doing the frame white, but that might be a little absurd. Man, I'm pretty stoked. But, you know, the lower it sits, the taller that top hat looks, man. I gotta freaking chop that top. That's gonna happen probably in the next episode. No, I don't know. I gotta tear this thing apart. I gotta get the frame back on the floor, on the level floor, or the body back on the floor. I need to put strength back in the body. I need to put strength in it before I chop it. That's for sure. I have some stuff to do, but you know, that was a good day. Got a lot done, and stay tuned for the next one. There's a lot more, and this thing's coming along, man. I mean, I won't be surprised if an engine pops up soon. So stay tuned for that, and see y'all later.